Audiobook 7.6 The Book of Transcendence. What Lies Beyond. There are moments in a human life that don't fit inside the ordinary categories. A piece of music that undoes you completely. A landscape so vast it makes the self feel briefly, beautifully small. The birth of a child. The death of someone loved. A moment of meditation so deep that the boundary between you and everything else becomes impossible to locate. These moments are not rare. Most people have had them, but they are remarkably difficult to talk about. Because the ordinary language of everyday life wasn't built for them. The Book of Transcendence was. Every major wisdom tradition has identified something that lies beyond the ordinary sense of self. The mystics of the Christian tradition, Meister Eckhart, Teresa of Avila, John of the Cross, wrote of union with the divine, of the self dissolving into something larger, of a love so total it leaves no room for the separate self to stand. The Sufi poets, Rumi above all, described the same experience in the language of longing and surrender, the self as a drop of water aching to return to the ocean. Transcendence not as escape from life, but as the fullest possible immersion in it. Buddhist practice aims systematically at the dissolution of the ego's grip, not to destroy the self, but to reveal what was always there beneath it. A vast, open, untroubled awareness that the contents of experience arise within but do not disturb. Hindu Advaita Vedanta goes further still, teaching that the individual self and the universal self are not two things, that Atman and Brahman are identical, that transcendence is not a journey outward, but a recognition of what was never absent. Different maps, the same territory. Here is what science sees. Neuroscience has begun to study transcendent experience directly. What happens in the brain during deep meditation, during peak experiences, during the states that mystics have described for millennia? The findings are striking. The regions of the brain associated with the sense of a separate self, the default mode network, become quieter. The boundaries between self and world become less defined. The sense of time changes. What remains is described consistently across cultures and traditions as more real than ordinary experience, not less. These are not hallucinations. They are not pathologies. They appear to be glimpses of a mode of awareness that is available to human beings but rarely accessed. A frequency that most of us spend our lives slightly out of tune with. The Book of Transcendence asks what it would mean to tune in more consistently. Transcendence in everyday life. Transcendence is not only available on mountaintops or in meditation halls. It arrives in the middle of a conversation that suddenly becomes completely honest, in the flow state of deep creative work, in the wordless understanding that passes between two people who know each other completely. In the moment a piece of music reaches something in you that you didn't know was there. These are not lesser forms of transcendence. They are transcendence as it actually lives, woven into ordinary experience, available in any moment, waiting to be noticed. The Book of Transcendence is an invitation to notice more often. We close this audiobook with a track from the Pi 11 Pi catalog called Transcendent 01. Let it take you somewhere the words have been pointing toward, but cannot quite reach. That unreachable place is exactly where this book lives. Looking forward to meeting you in Audiobook 7.7, The Book of Cycles. Ready when you are?